ask you cross question related to what all the things you have spoken in Q card. For example, your Q card was talk about your first day at college. So in counter question round, they might ask you that do you think it was a good decision that 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 ragging was banned in the country? Okay, the questions that will be asked to you will be based on Q card. Okay, as well as whatever answers you have given in the counter question round, among them from that also they will ask you question. For example, you told that yes, I feel that it was very good decision that they have banned the ragging. So after that they might ask you why do you think it was a good decision according to you? Okay, those type of cross questions also they might ask you in counter question round. So you should be knowing how to give answers smartly. Okay, either you can select one-sided answer like it was good, or you can what you can do is you can give unbiased answers also. But whatever answer you are giving, you should be sure that there will be a follow-up questions behind that answer. Okay, so how many questions they ask in counter question round? There is usually no time recorded, no question recorded for counter question. Usually they ask you between 5 to 7 questions. 7, 8, not more than. Okay, what type of answers you have to give in counter question round? You should give 6 to 7 sentences long answer. That is approximately your each answer should be approximately 30 seconds long. Okay, that doesn't mean you will beat around the you will tell all the things but you will not jump on the topic. No, you should not do it. What you have to do is you should give answers as such, you should stay on the topic and try to give all the answers. That is most important thing. Okay, so counter question round, well elaborated answers. If you are completing each answer without justifying, what they will do is they will ask you more and more questions, and you must remember the more question they will ask, the more you will get confused and you will be troubled more. Okay, for your phase 2 questions Q card, okay, whatever Q card they will give you, you have to compulsory take and start preparing on it. You cannot ask your examiner that could you please change me the Q card. Okay, you cannot ask your examiner that. Okay, whatever you see, if you will ask also, they are not going to change. Plus, this thing has been recorded, so there will be a negative impression that will be fallen on the mind of the examiner. So, one thing you have to remember is never ever ask your examiner to change the cue card. Nor you should leave any answers unattempted. You should give all the answers fully and you should attempt all the answers. Sometimes it may happen that sometimes it may happen that whatever answers you are giving in between that your examiner will stop and ask you next question. That doesn't mean that whatever you were speaking was incorrect. You don't have to get nervous about it. Okay, it means that she is in hurry. 11 minutes recording she has to take. So if you will keep on speaking, it might happen that whatever question she has in her hand, she might not be able to cover all those questions. So don't worry about it. That doesn't mean you will shorten the answers and you will let it go. Okay, give much elaborated answers. Okay. Now usually we have a lot of questions about how to appear in the speaking examination. Okay, you should be wearing normal clothes. Formal is not necessary. Okay, they are coming there to check your base of English. Okay, they are not coming there to check your dressing or anything. So you have to properly dress up. Try to have an eye contact with the examiner. Compulsorily you should have an eye contact with the examiner. Okay, you should not be looking like you are looking to London, you are looking to Tokyo and talking to London. You should not be having that. Okay, eye gestures are important. If you want, you can do hand movements. It is completely fine. Okay, should not look nervous. Okay, always remember they will not ask you any of knowledgeable question. They will not ask you something like who is the Prime Minister of India or who is the Prime Minister of UAE or President of this. They will not ask. Okay, they are not sitting there to check your knowledge, depth of knowledge. They are simply sitting there to check your base of English. Also, you should give all the answers logically. Okay, it should not sound that your answers are coming completely irrelevant or it is off track or it is something that we have asked something like this to this candidate and he or she is giving this answers. No, it should not sound like that. Your answer should be well elaborated, your answer should be on track. Okay, and try not to beat around the bush. Okay, now next thing that you have to keep in mind is in your IELTS examination, your introductory phase will be approximately for 3 to 4 minutes long. Okay, your phase 2 will be approximately, sorry, phase 1 will be approximately 4 to 5 minutes long. Okay, your phase 2 will be some 3 to 4 minutes long. Okay, and your phase 3 will be approximately again 4 to 5 minutes long. So if you will add the upper limit, that is 4 plus 3 plus 4, that is equal to 11 minutes, and 5 plus 4 plus 5, it is equal to 14 minutes. So equivalent to that, your IELTS examination speaking will not be less than 11 minutes nor more than 14 minutes. Now, what happens in your speak day of test? You have to carry your original passport. Okay, so again in your IELTS speaking, they will take your thumb impression, your finger scan will be taken. Okay, and then your passport will be verified. After all that thing, they will make you to sit in an examination hall where students would be there. Okay, then as your turn will come, your invigilator will take you to the examiner's room. Okay, your IELTS examination is usually conducted in some 3-star or 4-star hotel. Okay, so she or the examiner, he or she will be sitting inside the room. So as you enter, okay, you should be behaving very properly. Okay, he or she will at first ask you to take the seat, you should sit. Okay, and then he or she might ask you, the examiner will ask you your original passport. So how they will ask, could you please hand me over your proof of identification. Okay, and you should hand them over your original passport. Okay, they will open the first page of the passport and then they will ask you, could you please tell me your good name? So you should tell your name as per it is written in the passport. For example, your passport may your family name is at first and then it is your name. You should tell in the same sequence because they have started the recording and it is a type of cross verification. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to tell the name as per it is written in the passport. After that they will stop everything. They will introduce themselves that hi, I am this and I will be your today's examiner. After that they will start with the examination and maybe the first question they will ask you is, could you please tell me something about yourself or introduce yourself or could you please tell me something about yourself. Okay, so this would be the first question they might ask. Okay, this is very common question they ask. It is not necessary that they will ask, they might ask. So at first you have already told them your name, so there is no need to tell your name again. Okay, you don't need to repeat your name again. So you just have to start with your name of hometown. Okay, for example, your hometown's name is Baroda. So you will tell that my hometown is Baroda, which is located in the central part of Gujarat. okay, or if if your hometown is located is this, then you could tell something about near locality which is famous for. Okay, so next first thing that you will talk about is my hometown, or I come from this place, okay, or my home is at this place, anything is fine. Next thing that you have to tell them is about your educational qualification. Okay, in educational qualification, what all the things you have to tell? At first, you have to tell about your name of degree. For example, if you have pursued your masters, then you should tell about your masters only. You don't have to tell about your bachelors. Okay, the first thing that you will let them know is your degree. I have, how you will tell? I have pursued my bachelor's of commerce. Okay, I have pursued my bachelor's of engineering. I have pursued my bachelor's of business administration. Okay, whatever you have pursued bachelor's of, that you have to tell them. So your degree in full form, okay. Then after telling your degree, you should tell them the name of the institute from where you have pursued the degree. I have pursued my bachelor's of engineering from MBICT college, okay. Then if you want to tell them about the name of the university, you can, which is affiliated with Gujarat Technological University, okay, and then which is located in Anand, Gujarat, okay. Then if you want to tell about the location, you can. Okay, this all four things you can mention as a part of educational qualification. But make sure you would use the same sequence. What is mandatory? Degree, name of the institute. If you are telling them the name of the university and location, well and good. If you don't want to tell them the name of the university, you can only tell which is located here in this place. Okay, the third thing that you have to let them know is currently what you are doing. Okay, currently what you are doing. Currently what you are doing will include your job profile. Currently what, how you are working. So the job profile, how you have to explain is, at first you have to tell your designation. Okay, designation in the sense, for example, if you are in a professional one, you can talk about your profession also. That by profession, I am an engineer. Okay, by profession, for example, I am a teacher. So I will tell, by profession, I am a teacher and I'm working as an IELTS trainer. Okay, and then I have told about my designation. So in job profile, if you are having a profession, at first let them know your profession, then designation, and I'm working as senior executive manager or the junior executive manager or junior this the guy or senior this guy, whatever it is, in the full form you have to tell. Okay, and then you have to let them know your company's name, in which institute you are working, company's name you have to let them know, and the company is located where, that also you have to let them know. Okay, in your job profile, if you are in profession, for example, I'm a teacher by profession, so I will tell currently as I'm a teacher by, as I'm a profession, sorry, as I am a teacher by profession and I'm working as an IELTS trainer in this company which is located here. That's it. When they are asking you to introduce yourself, you just have to let them know this many things only. You don't have to let them know more about, for example, hobbies or what do you like, what do you dislike. It will be unnecessarily elaborated, which will be boredom for them. As well as there are other trainers who make them make the students mug up, in the sense like you should tell them or you should speak, you should construct this sentence, and you just have to tell them no, it is not needed. Trust me, in your IELTS examination they do not need parrots who would go there and whatever they have learned, like whatever they have imitated, just they have to vomit. No, they don't need, they need someone who speaks fluently and naturally. Okay, so always remember what all the answers you are giving, it should be from heart. Okay, it should be completely realistic answers. Okay, now one more thing, a lot of people are having doubt is that whatever I should speak should be true. No, in your IELTS examination whatever you are speaking, it is not necessary to be true. For example, in your Q card phase, they might ask you that talk about a concert, a live concert that you visited or that you attended. Now, it might happen that you would have never been visited, never been to any concert before. Live singing concert or dancing concert, you must have never been before, so it would be hard for you to explain that. So in that case what you can do is you can make up a story. For example, you must have seen concert happening in some movies or in television or any video or something, so you can picturize about it and you can narrate and tell them. Okay, you should not tell as if like, sorry madam, could you please change me the Q card because I have never been to a concert before. No, you cannot tell them. Whatever your Q card is, you should tell. You should make up a story and narrate it, and just you have to tell them. This thing you have to remember forever. Whatever answer it is not necessary that 100% truth only it should be. Okay, whatever answers you are giving, it can be bluff also, but the base of English that you are using should be perfect, and it should not look like you are bluffing or you are making up some stories. Introductory questions will be very easy, will be able to give perfect answers. Q card phase will be again very much easy only. Okay, you should be little bit scared, a little bit conscious. You should be in counter question round, because in counter question round they ask you a lot of cross questions. Okay, so it may happen that you will get confused and they might extract whatever things they want from you to get extracted. It may not happen, so make sure that you should give all the